Boom, baby, we're live. What up? Welcome to the Game Room, episode 21. It is me, MLD. I'm joined by Paul from Apex Mindset. Today, we're going to talk to you about they're turning women against you. It's time to wake up. This is a topic brought up by Paul, but it was something that he really wanted to cover because he sent me a pretty long description about it. So that being said, I'm just going to pop open and let Paul give a full explanation. We're going to test the internet out on my end. Let me know if we're coming in clear, guys, but sit tight and let Paul give you an explanation of today's show.
Hey, what's up, guys? All right, well, we're just going to have a little casual conversation. So make sure that you're active in the chats, in the comments, and the chats and everything, asking questions, doing those super chats too, so we can get the algorithms going and, of course, get you guys some questions answered. If you got any game questions or frame related questions, that's what we're here for. And now, if you we want to talk about you know, because this is the game room. So how do you game, women and be able to seduce and be able to have good relationships with women in your life? I mean, that's the question, right? But you have an active psyop that's been running right now that is designed to turn women against you and really designed to turn society against you. And so we want to break that down and talk about it. And the reason why isn't to kind of a lot of incels will use this doom and gloom to justify more or less incel behavior. And that's too bad. Okay. It's not really what the purpose is here. You know, the purpose is so you understand the reality of what's going on so you can have the tools necessary to build your own life and build a successful and good and happy life where you're fulfilling your purpose and where you're having what you want in your relationships with women. And if you want a family, you can have that too. All of the things that, you know, we could say God put us on this earth to have and to strive for, you can have those things, but you have to learn how to sidestep what's happening systematically in the western and first world. All right, if you can't creatively sidestep this stuff and game your way through it, right, and if you can't game women and have frame in your relationships to pull, let's say you're going to invest in a future with a woman because you want a family or you want something stable, right, you want someone to grow old with. Well, if you're going to invest that future in a woman, you have to put her in your frame so that she is not going to be a product of the social conditioning that's out there that's designed to make her hate you. All right. And so this is more of a casual discussion, but I'll bring up some points and data points and things like that. I see somebody, throwing a super chat in, which we'll look at super chats later. Um, with the whole Lindsay Clancy case, all that. I did a video on that that's pretty detailed over on my channel if you guys are interested in diving into that case. The internet is blowing up about that case right now to the point where I'm almost tired of hearing about it. You know what I mean? So that's why I didn't really want to make this show about that either. And to keep trying to do that. This should be of no surprise. The way that it's not every woman that's supporting a child murderer in the case of the Lindsay Clancy case, but it's a fair amount. We could probably guess maybe 15% of women, maybe 20%. It's certainly thousands and thousands of women. It's a minority, but it's a it's what for some people a shocking number of people, right? So it's not a small minority, and that though should be of no surprise. Okay, so you got to follow what is going on and where the social conditioning goes. The social conditioning, and this is just more or less a theory, it's an economic theory. I'm going to paraphrase it. But things like your social conditioning, your social narratives tend to support, both follow and support or try to replicate the economy that's in place. All right. So somewhere around, I don't know, several decades ago, okay, with the introduction of different newer waves of feminism, marketing people began to understand, well, wait a second. The largest consumers are women. As far as demographics are concerned, women drive consumption. And so if we can appeal to women and appeal to a female demographic, then the men are going to follow because men want to get laid. You know what I mean? And really, when you look biologically, we have vasopressin, right? So men are trying to, satisfy and make happy the women that are in their life. Now, the key to satisfying and making a woman happy is frame, is discipline, is telling her no, is leading in the right direction and being a leader in your relationship, is building genuine desire. That's the real way you build a deep satisfaction in a woman that you're in a relationship with. Okay, that's what society though isn't wanting you to know. What society wants you to do, when I say society, like it's not this cabal of people that meet in a conference room or something, trying to control the world. I mean, there's conspiracies about stuff like that, but it's not really what happens. It's really more chaotic than that, but it tends to go where whatever is driving the economy. And so if consumption based on female and gynocentric sensibilities is what is going to sell, right? Is how companies can. This is why companies like Gillette, for example, a while ago did that commercial, this is why these companies that sell male products do feminist commercials. They do this because it's going to, if they figure if they can sell and appeal to female sensibilities, then you guys will just do whatever the women say, right? And do whatever they want. And again, that's been showing up to be like kind of true now, isn't it? For about 80% of guys, that's what they're doing. Now you have some guys that are pushing back. I would consider myself somebody pushing back, right? John too. But we push back with, okay, we're not going to follow the framework of a social narrative, a political narrative, and a economic narrative that's designed to enslave us as men. Because see, if the ultimate goal of people in power, right, and of a lot of who obtained a lot of power and money, who don't have particularly good ethics, are to enslave the rest of everybody else, and particularly the labor force and the highest producers, which is men. And so men are the highest producers in the labor force, and women are the highest consumers. So this is why the social conditioning is there. You guys want to know why gynocentrism is in place. There's a number of reasons. I've expressed my bonobo theory if you guys want to hear about that. And there's a number of things, but what it boils down to is the economy, and so the economy is what is, all right, driving this gynocentric narrative. And that gynocentric narrative is designed to enslave you, keep you as a slave for a female imperative. Either have you be an incel slave, right? Just supplying labor to the workforce so guys who are better than you can fuck women and have families. Or it's, so guys can get married and, appeal to women and like pay for women and sim for women, right? And continue to work in the workforce while women take total control of whatever's going on. And so we can just look at a number of like data points, right? And it's like, it absolutely is what is going on. It's been going on for a while. And now there's technology to support and speed up that process. You know what I mean? Hey John, there's a lot of background noise on your mic though. Just, I don't know if you want to mute yourself. I don't know what you're doing over there.
Hey, I'm so sorry about that. Is it really loud?
Yeah, it's pretty loud. It's a lot of
shucks, my bad.
noises going on. Yeah, that's okay, man. I just wanted to
Next time, tell me sooner. I got you.
Yeah, all good, all good. So at any rate, so we can look at like some little data points, things that happen every day, right? Like a boy, right, in school gets suspended for roughhousing, right? And then that same school will run healthy masculinity workshops, in more liberal cities and places like the UK. They actually run classes, workshops. There's parts of the curriculum that are distinctly anti-male and distinctly feminist. This is what's happening through the school systems. All right. You could look at, typical guys like in the 24-year-old guy, for example, has got no trade, no degree, no gym habit, not a lot of friends, plays a lot of games, addicted to pornography, logged into dating apps, can't figure why he's not getting anywhere, simps for girls on OnlyFans and on social media. Like that's a common person out there, right? There is that guy. Out of all of the people that listen to us, there is at least that guy. There's a few of those guys probably listening right now. There's on the other side, you got tons of women out there who are TikTok brained, who are supporting child murderers, and finding excuses for that, bitching about their dating life, talking about how there's no men out there, right? And this is a thing too. You have Cosmopolitan writing articles on how to live a life without men. That's like they had a term for it, but that's like a recent thing, so this is just stuff that's happening. So what you have is you have three things going on. You have a structural thing, which is your schools, DEI hiring, the job mix, family law. You look at, even the opiate crisis. Okay. People dudes just getting on disability, getting on state assistance, all of those things, these structural problems, right? Then you have the cultural narratives that support the structural problems, right? Like loser guys and feminine guys in every single movie and ad that you watch nowadays, right? Most guys are pussies, you know what I mean? In Hollywood, in ads, right? A lot of talk about toxic masculinity. It's this Schrodinger's feminism, right? Where, women are the victims by men who are terrible, powerful assailants. Also, women are stronger than men and can do anything a man can do, right? It's these two things are happening at once. It's that logical fallacy. And so that's what's going on. And then you guys, a lot of you are falling into participating in this structure. All right. It starts with porn addiction when you're really young. I can't tell you how damaging and debilitating porn addiction. I didn't even realize it because, I'm a different generation. I'm a Gen X guy, right? I'm believe it or not, I'm going to be 50, not too far out from now, about a year and a half. All right. So I'm approaching 50. All right. In a year and a half, that's how old I am. Right. And when I grew up, you couldn't really get addicted to porn because you didn't have access to it. You didn't have free access to it. You had to sort of sneak around if you were a teenager, trying to look at boobies. And it was just part of growing up, but it wasn't a big deal because you couldn't have your brain. Technology couldn't hijack your brain the way it can for young kids now, as young as ages 8, 9, and 10 years old are getting phones, they're getting iPads and they're having their brains hijacked. They're meeting other friends, 8, 9, and 10, who have older brothers or sisters who get exposed to pornography, get exposed to sex work, get exposed to, even just women on Instagram doing content and shaking their ass and titties, right? And then they, those 8, 9, and 10-year-olds with the older brother or sister, they get that shit from. Maybe their sister's making the content, right? Whatever. their moms, whatever. And then they bring that to their peers, and then some other, kid is getting it. And, of course, the male brain is designed to pursue sex relentlessly. It's even when you're young, you're very, very curious about that. And then the porn stuff hijacks your brain. And many of you guys have a porn addiction. You know what I mean? It's like, I've had a couple of clients now who I've worked with who, like, we were trying to get them to get out, date, do the things that are just normal action taking things. And this dude will have a barrier from being able to do that. So weeks of working with this guy, he's not getting anywhere. What the fuck's going on? Oh, you're addicted to fucking porn. All right. Finally, they disclose that shit. Now I can pinpoint it. Now I can tell. Like I'll do, you know what I mean? But early on, it's like, I'm not thinking, okay, guy watches porn, big deal. You know what I mean? Well, no, it's watching porn, like when, the way that somebody from my generation watches porn and watching porn the way that you guys who grew up on the internet watch porn are two different things. You guys are 2.5 hours in of your day searching for different fucking things to whack off to. You guys are whacking off without your dick's not even hard. You know what I mean? You're whacking yourself to fucking, it's just ridiculous. Any of the women listening right now are going to be fucking grossed out, but that's literally what these guys are fucking doing. Hey, your mic's off now, John. You got to turn your mic on.
They're pushing rope.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. They're just pushing rope 2.5 hours in. You know what I mean? Like and they have erectile dysfunction with real women. They have all kinds of sexual dysfunction in their early 20s. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so
this guy right now in the chat, this guy is losing his mind. Listen, look, see, the fact you're saying now, you went from, wait a minute, you go from no way testosterone's going to stop that to like porno seriously to now you're shifting saying, why won't you mention about how women are being addicted to porn? You went through like so many coping cycles and like one 30-second
in real time just on the
yeah,
chat.
that was fascinating to watch, dude.
That nice.
This is what we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
The fact that you can't realize what porn has done to your brain just shows. I guarantee you're an incel. I guarantee you haven't had sex in the last 90 days. I'm willing to bet you have not that you haven't paid for. You may have paid for it, but okay, this is what we're talking about here, guys. Because what Paul is saying too. And sorry, I was in the background making.
No, you're good, dude.
my morning protein for my rehab. I'm going to here in a sec.
Not drug
rehab,
guys.
Yeah, physical
for your new listeners, it's physical therapy.
Yeah. But anyways, what we're talking about here is very important. How you understand that you guys, I don't think you guys seem to understand that your sex life is not going to fix itself, and it's only going to get worse as you get older if you don't work with somebody.
Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about right now. It doesn't. If you're relying on the world to fix it for you, you're fucked. It's not fixing it for you unless you are genetically blessed or come from generational wealth, right? And even those guys have problems. But unless that's your thing. If you're normal, if you're the rest of guys from the 99th percentile down to whatever, right? Then guess what? This is not going to fix itself.
Dude, I was coaching this kid worth $4 million, trust fund kid, 24, $4 million, incel.
Yeah.
Incel, total incel.
Yep. Yeah. Money is not solving that, unless he's buying pussy, which then it's still problematic. And so the thing about the porn, it's like, I'm not trying to shame you for watching porn, although maybe that is an effective strategy for some of you, but that's not the point. It's very, if you could watch hours and hours of porn and still have healthy relationships, I wouldn't give a shit. But the reality is that isn't what's happening. And you don't even see it. You don't even see this demon that is on your back and putting its hands over your eyes. When I have a guy, who figure out, okay, you're watching like way too much porn. It's not even casual. This is into addiction category. And that guy stops doing that. It's like, he's not even necessarily, he doesn't even have to stop casually and occasionally jerking off. He's not jerking off for 2.5 hours a day, but just stopping the porn, even just that's it. Stopping the porn. It's like, it's like he can see clearly. It's like, the trees are, the leaves on the trees are green again. It's hard to explain, but it really,
Yeah.
I mean, from a neurological perspective, it makes sense. But if you're not a neuroscientist, then this conversation won't make sense. But it's your senses and your experiences are muffled. It's like almost like a dopamine addiction, or you know what I mean, where now you can't feel good. Like just dealing with regular women is like hard for a guy to deal with when he has 2.5 hours of porn searches every day in his life. Like it's a
Yeah.
fucking debilitating thing. And you guys think you can do both. You can't. It's like it's almost like going to the gym to work out, but then not eating any protein and drinking alcohol instead. Like that's the equivalent. If you're trying to like improve your game with women and all this stuff, but you're consuming hours of pornography. And I know there's a scale here. You know what I mean? Like a guy who jerks off to porn every now and then, like they used to 30, 40 years ago. I'm not too worried about that guy. And this is a personal decision you got to make. But the porn addiction thing is a whole nother story. And the internet and getting porn from that resource, it's designed to affect your brain like a casino. It's designed to affect your brain like social media, where it's you're scrolling and searching and clicking and looking, and then you get these parasocial relationships with these porn stars and OnlyFans girls and whatever your favorite influencer is on Instagram. It's fucking poisoning your guys' brain, some of you.
Yeah.
And a lot of guys, it's
Most
not
of
just
them.
well, yeah, most of them. And it's a lot. It's not even just the incel young guy. A lot of these guys are coming from broken marriages and sexless marriages.
Mhm.
So we're talking guys 30s, 40s, 50s who you're not having sex or interaction with real women. You've been doing the porn thing for so long. That's the deep dark secret in the Christian churches, which was one of the topics that was on the table. Maybe we'll do it another time. But you got all these Christian married guys who have parasocial relationships with OnlyFans girls and porn stars. Nobody's talking about that shit, and if you talk about it, then a bunch of Christians come out and flip out and have a bunch of coping. You know what I mean? When they should be talking about that shit
Mhm.
in their church. That should be a homily. That should be a sermon about all you motherfuckers, like half of you motherfucking
Mhm.
married guys are doing this
Mhm.
shit, and it's killing your fucking relationship because your wives won't fuck you. You know what I mean? So let's figure out that piece instead of coping. But
Mhm.
that's been the norm now. Coping with porn because your wife won't fuck you is the norm. And then these guys finally get out of that broken relationship. And what are they doing? They're coping with porn instead of meeting girls and having better experiences. And
Or your
this is
wife your wife's too fat because she listens to TikTok, and TikTok says it's okay to be fat. And you're
right.
like, oh, now I got this fat bitch I'm attached to for the rest of my life.
Yeah, you got some
But
fat bitch scrolling her phone every night when you come home instead of talking to you.
yep.
Wow.
And so I want to add some more stuff to this because I want to show like the biggest revelation I've had as a dating coach in 2026. Because like I said, Paul and I, we're always just going to be dating coaches. We're never going to like flip to geopolitics or start doing whatever other crap, right? And I have come to the realization again, it's a very um, sobering realization that if you guys don't take this part of your life seriously, you're going to die alone. You're going to end up alone. This is something that's not going to fix itself. And you think that you're exempt from this, but you are not. You're not the exception. Paul and I, we're the exceptions. That's why we have big brands, right? You are the rule. And if you gentlemen out there do not take the time to figure out game and to lock down a potential partner for over a longer period of time, you're just the quality of your life is just not going to be as good. Anybody who tells you otherwise is just full of shit and lying because they can't figure it out, you know? But like when I see stuff like this in the chat too, when I hear stuff like, Paul, MLD guys who have girlfriends, wives that make them wine and dine them in order to potentially get sex. Is that not also paying for sex? So our girlfriends aren't making us do anything.
Yeah.
That's you see that's the and when we talked about it earlier, the victim mindset that you have, Gio. This is the guy who wrote about the surrogacy. Having a
Yeah.
surrogacy.
Right.
Like your mind is unhealthy for you even to think that. And then honestly, earlier too, you said this like my sis says Lindsay didn't do it. Do I disown her? I would just say like looks like mental health issues running the family because like you have very poor mental health models that you're so afraid of women that you think about you need to get a surrogacy, and then now you're saying, oh well, the women you're with, Paul and MLD, like they're forcing you to take them out to wine and dine them. And it's like, no, this is not. They're not forcing us to do
If
anything.
you guys you knew how much not whining and dining that happens in my house, you guys would be like, what the fuck is going on over there? Why don't you guys ever just leave your house? You know what I mean? Like, it's like we're dorks. We don't go anywhere. Seriously, But I don't have to though, because I worked hard enough to be successful enough to live in a nice neighborhood. I got a lake right outside my door. You know what I mean? We got everything we could need right here. So like, I mean, I can go out and enjoy it, but we barely, like me and my girlfriend, we barely actually go out. We stay in and enjoy ourselves. And we have lots of sex and also watch movies or fucking make some dinner together, or she makes me dinner, I make her dinner, right? Like, or whatever. Like we enjoy ourselves. It's what we do, what we want to do. But it's not, I'm not, see, that's a good question. I'm fine with him asking that, because it's not just Geo here that's polluted with that. Fucking Orion Teraband's talking about transactional relationship and all transactional relationships, and the value of people and all this crap. Everything's a negotiation. Yeah, if you're in a transactional relationship where you have to wine and dine some girl and offer her prizes in order for her to touch your wiener, then yes, that's prostitution. You just not with a label on it. But there's a whole nother type of relationship that we're supposed to be having, and that we're designed to have to some degree, and that you should be aspiring to have, that isn't a transactional relationship. It's based in desire and based in actual pair bonding, based in our natural human neurochemical ability to bond with somebody else. You know what I mean? Where now it's not just this exchange of goods. And this other idea, this is just such a broken way of thinking. But again, you're not alone in thinking this. So I'm not even coming at you really hard on this. I mean, because you're not the only one. But it's like, it's this idea that somehow sex isn't the prize for the woman. It's almost like, well, what do I have to do to get the sex? It's like, well, look, if you fuck her in a way where she really enjoys being fucked, she's coming to you for sex. Like, for a long time, and generally when I'm a single guy, I have women who will just come to me for sex. My relationships start off with women wanting to come to me for sex, and then they want more things, and then I'm deciding if they're a good candidate for those more things. Okay. My relationships don't start with, hey, I'm a high value man, want to take a ride in my supercar, or hey, look how buff I am. I'll look cool standing next to you and you can brag to your girlfriends about me, or hey, I can get you access to this club, or hey, I'm willing to spend this money on you, take you to dinner. That's not what fucking how my relationships start. My relationships start because she laughs, has a good time, she's thinking dirty thoughts, and then I fuck her brains out. That's how a relationship starts for me. And then what happens is she has a bunch of orgasms and she goes, fuck me, dude. I'm going to come back and see that guy, even though I'm not so sure I can be with him long term, because he's a guy living his own life. And I'm not so sure I can control that dude. But I like the orgasms I had, so maybe I'm going to go see him next week. And then that builds into a relationship. That's how it should go. In my opinion, that's what we're training guys to do. You got to get out of your head. It's not fucking
you
guys. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, because the problem here now is this too. Now, they're no longer watching movies as their frame of reference to picking up girls. They're watching streamers, and the 99% of these
That's even
streamers are
worse.
fucking. They're simping. Yeah, no, that's what I'm
Of
saying.
course.
That's their Saturday morning cartoons.
Yeah. And that's
That's
all
what they're
part of a
watching.
system. You guys got to see this. This is all part
Hmm.
of a system that you guys are locked in and you're trapped in it. You're like in the fucking fish tank and all you see is the fish tank. And you get glimpses on what else is in the room outside of your fish tank, but you can't quite see it in detail. And then you retreat back into your little fucking fake little sandcastle that whoever, that's in the fish tank or whatever, right? Like, and you take your goldfish brain and you search for the next thing. Like you got to get out of the fucking fish tank. You got to live
Yeah,
your life different. You know what I mean?
I want to.
You gotta,
I want to show you how this, because what Paul's saying too about living your life different is 100% true. Because I want to show you something I just harmlessly posted on X. Paul, you never seen this yet. I mean, you've probably seen it, but
I don't know.
um, you know me, I go buck wild on X. But here's I want to show you a clip. So here's what I wrote.
I think I did see
I
this
wrote
one.
hoes will do this, not your
Yeah.
average good woman. Big difference, right? So this says I want to show you this because just shows you the blind leading the blind. Because the guy who made this video is also a fucking dork. Man who took clavicular's girlfriend said he did it to prove that your girl will go regardless of who she's with, right? So let's take a look here.
So someone just asked me if I feel bad for posting Clav's girl and possibly ending the relationship. Look, you know how many times this guy has gone up to a couple and taken the girl away from the guy? Just because he's got some status. He's got no sympathy, no remorse for it. So I just gave him a dose of his own medicine. It doesn't matter what kind of status you got. Your girl will fucking go and hang out with other guys. Look, listen, I'm going to set the record straight. I didn't do anything with this girl. They're fucking teenagers. I didn't touch her. I didn't do anything with her. But I wanted to show everyone that it doesn't matter who you are. Your girl will go behind your back and hang out with guys.
No, your girl will, guy. His girl will. Clav's girl will. And it's not because Clav is inherently like is like there's something wrong with him, like inherently that he's cursed in any girl he picks. No, he's picking girls that are following him for clout and who will fuck
Right.
him or being, if you're going to go with girls who are going to fuck you for clout on the internet because they're stupid, right? They're low IQ, attractive women who can't think, fuck, they're 80 IQ with tits. All right. If you're going with a 75, 80 IQ with tits that just drools on herself and goes, he's got a lot of followers. If that's what your girlfriend is, well, then guess what? The next guy that goes, I got a lot of followers. He's like, oh, really? That's what happens. Yes, that's what's going to happen. If you find a
Yeah.
woman who has at least above a fucking 95 IQ, like we're not even saying she needs to be a genius, and understands that internet clout's bullshit because she's in your frame, and you fuck her brains out, make her come, and then say, see how internet clout's bullshit. And she goes, yes, internet clout is bullshit, and that's it. That's how that works. Okay. And so
Yep.
her orgasmed brain overrides her TikTok brain, and she goes, yes, the clout's bullshit. Then when somebody like Clav or with a platform or whoever or an athlete or some good looking guy, whatever, tries to steal her, she fucking laughs at that guy's face and then tells you about it, and then you fuck her brains out again as a reward. You see, this is how it goes if you have game
Yeah.
and seduction skills, to make a girl
Right.
feel good. And I keep referencing the sex part a little more than I usually do, but it is an important component here. Saying it is an important component of this because you have to replace whatever her brain would be hijacked with, right? The social narratives. And part of that is all this bullshit. You have to replace that with your frame, your values, your beliefs. And hopefully those values and beliefs are better than the poison that's out there.
Right. And the thing too about this is when because that girl found Clav through his clout too. She knows he has money.
Right. Of
She
course.
knows he has status. And so another thing that guys seem to miss is that attracts low quality women and that pushes away high quality women. They're your average decent woman doesn't want a camera shoved in her face. She doesn't want to be like, oh, they don't want to be part of the online clout community. They like their privacy. They're cool to go call their grandmother and go hang out with her on a Saturday and Sunday, go eat ice cream or something with her, take her on a grandmother date. That's what good women are doing, right?
Yeah.
And so another thing is I want to show you this because these are some of the replies I got to show you how fucked up the average guy's mind is, right? So remember, you have this guy too, right? So this guy's also a simp. This guy who made the video, that this guy just showed, this guy's like obviously an older gentleman, but
Yeah.
for him to make this video to try to get like his couple moments of fame shows you
Yeah.
what's going on inside of his brain as well too. That got 1.3
Well,
million.
if the moral of his
views.
story is that your girl's gonna fucking just go with other men. If that's his moral, I know he's already fucked. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I know he's
exactly.
he's trapped. That's the real Matrix. So we're gonna use that analogy. The Matrix
Yep.
is this internet world, the cloud chasing bullshit, the feminist economy. That's all the Matrix, dude. And if you have to live your life outside of that shit, and you have to have a frame outside and a girl outside, and then guess what? When your girl is outside of that shit because she's in your frame, my girl would never get in a car with this guy. My girl would never fucking go with Clav or a similar influencer, and she would never fucking do that in a billion years. She wouldn't embarrass her. She understands that the second she does that, she brings shame and embarrassment upon herself, let alone me, the relationship, her fucking bloodline, everything. Like the last thing she would do is be caught on film doing some shit like that. You know what I mean? But see, these women that you see on the internet, they have no fucking shame. That's the thing.
Yeah.
There's no shame. You know,
I want to show these things too, because look at the guys though. The guys here are believing that I'm wrong. This is your average good woman. The big difference is that good women are rare. Most girls have more sexual experience than their counterparts, right? There are no good average women. And look at this. Just got an onslaught of guys just going in on me. You know, some agree with me, but most don't.
I gotta go over there and take a look, and then
Dude, it's so bad because they have like this helplessness, and it's honestly the helplessness that the incel community loves to brag about, like, oh, it's so brutal, oh, we're cooked, like all this stuff. That shit is exceptionally unattractive when women hear a man saying that.
well,
When
sure,
you
'cause
behave in this helplessness,
powerless. That's why.
yes,
Powerlessness is the
exactly.
most unattractive thing for a woman. The opposite of confidence is powerlessness. If you think
Yeah.
about it, you know, confidence is, it's not just because anything, like whether it's insecurity or whether it's overcompensation or whether it's, you know what I mean? All of these things that show that you're lacking confidence, what you're actually showing is that you lack power. And women
Yep.
do not want to be with a guy who doesn't have any power, you know.
Yep.
And you don't have to necessarily have power over like massive amounts of people, like a world leader or some shit. You just have to have personal power, really. Like
Freedom.
if you are free, if you are free up here in your mind, you know what I mean, then they're going to be attracted to you because they want to be free too. They want to follow a guy who's going to lead them to the same freedom. You know, they just don't know what it looks like. You know, I love this. I love this thing here.
Yeah, because it's
I
so
gotta steal
simple
this
for you
from
guys. It's my wallpaper on my phone now. That's how
Yes,
serious I am about that, because it just shows you the incel mindset does put you in that powerlessness. And when you learn to cold approach and you learn to have game, you have freedom of choice. Because without game, you don't have a choice. You are literally submitting yourself to like an algorithm of luck, just hoping that this woman doesn't fuck your life up, and the odds are not in your favor.
right. And
You know?
and actually, I will say too, the more you up your value as a man, particularly with status and clout, the more your game skills have to be dialed in. The problem that Clav has is that he doesn't really have game, you know, and I'm not shitting on him. I'm just saying he doesn't. But what he does have is tons of internet clout. That only means is that he cannot see what's going on with these women. He cannot, you know what I mean? Like he's going to consistently not recognize the difference between a clout chaser and someone with genuine desire. someone who, you know what I mean? He's not going to be able to connect with somebody on a deeper level and hold frame. It's really just that transactional relationship on hyperdrive. I have a bunch of money and a bunch of clout. So now I offer a lot in a transaction. So my game is going to be a pretend alpha and not show emotion and be, you know what I mean? Like be dismissive. And that's my game. Right. And so it's just all it is when I talk about maxing, it's just clout and money maxing for this transactional relationship with women. And it doesn't get a girl to be willing to crawl over broken glass and literally sacrifice her life if she needed to be a part of yours. Like it's not that loyalty. You won't have that loyalty. You will not have a loyal woman with a transactional relationship. You won't, unless, you know what I mean? Even if you have an extremely uneven exchange in the transaction, like you're really good looking dude with a ton of money and a ton of clout, you have this uneven exchange in the transaction, she's still going to fucking cheat on you. She's going to cheat on you with some ugly guy like me too, who's going to make her come. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what's going to happen, dude. That's what's going to happen. Some old fuck.
There is a way though.
You know,
look, there's a way though. I've seen it. These guys are already talking about this. This is a way to cheat proof your wife right here. When she's leaving, you strap her on in there and you're like, no one's cheating on no one's cheating with my woman today.
That's just so she doesn't kill kids, bro. That's so she doesn't get upset and shake a baby to death. You put her in that. You got to hire an au pair and then put mom in that for when she's not, for at least the first 3 months, apparently. Yeah.
The fear from you guys, though. The thing is, the fear it permeates across your life too.
Well, of course, you have this whole system that's against them. It makes sense that they're afraid, but we're giving you the tools to not be afraid. You gotta be able to take the tools.
This is real.
You know what I mean? Yeah,
this is real.
Facts. My lady wanted to change her. Yeah, 100%, dude.
So
I have a funny
you guys.
Story. I don't know if I should tell a story, but I have a funny one. All right,
let me add something. Then I want you to go for it. So, but the point is, what we're trying to tell you guys here again is, look, there is a psychological operation that is culturally wide in America that you guys don't see it because you live there day in and day out. But when you pop in and out like I do, I can clearly see now that America is just one big corporate structure engineered to sell to women. I see it everywhere. I see it when you go to the grocery store. I see it when you go to CVS. I see all the commercials are women, starring women, for women, by women, paid for by women, marketing to women. That's really what it's happening right now in the United States of America. And there seems to be no brakes on this train. More women now hold W-2 jobs than men. And a lot of guys are mentally checking out. And again, when I was in America too, I'm like, why am I going to work so hard and break my back, pay these expensive prices, and I'm just surrounded by the most disgusting, ugly women on the planet? And I did what a smart guy would do in that situation. I said, fuck this. I'm going to go to a better place. And I found a better place. And now I'm being treated how I like to be treated, right? And that's the best thing. That's what rich people do. See, I'm sexually rich as well as doing okay economically, right? And so because I'm sexually rich, I could look at a place and do what the rich say, this place no longer serves me. I am going to leave. I'm going to go to another place. But the thing is, if you don't have game, you can never be sexually rich. You're always going to be a prisoner. You're always going to be a slave. The odds will always be against you. Because at least when you have game, you can know what's going on, and then you could choose which battles to engage in and which ones to walk away from, regards in the sexual marketplace, right? But when you have no game and you're just a fool, then you're like a blind person blindfolded with a map in Japanese to get to where you need to go. Like you're just done. You're so done. And if you look at data, it's very evident. So what we're saying on this show every single week now for 21 episodes in a row is we're just telling you the truth. That's the number one thing you can understand, and you can just understand this is a baseline of truth. Everything that me and Paul say, it's backed in science. We're both guys with degrees. I have my psychology degree. Paul has training in EMDR and all these other things as well. He has a fucking wall of degrees as well. We're not two manosphere bros making this shit up. We are actually data driven with our results. And we don't tell you guys to go throw events and fucking go get a bunch of clout on Instagram, all this fucking gay shit that attracts whores. But if you want to attract whores, then go for it. We'll show you how to whore max. But we're talking about having a long-term strategy, because the thing about these guys, you see these guys that they used to do it with the VIPs, come to my club, come to this event, come to this photo shoot, come to this influencers event. Okay, when you see these guys continue to get older, these guys still can't fucking lock down a woman.
Right.
They still can't do it. So you're flawed your whole life. We're teaching you, if you buckle down and listen to us, it'll take you worst case scenario 18 months. Absolute worst case scenario. Absolute a year and a half. The time is going to pass anyways. And what we're teaching you guys is, we're teaching you how to have something that is a luxury item, but is truly have dating and control in your life. So you don't have to feel like a little worm and go look at porn or look at OnlyFans or go to chat cam girl, whatever the gay shit you're doing, right? We'll show you guys how to have peace in your heart, how to have self-respect. I don't care what anybody says. When you bang a really fucking hot babe and she's like, obviously don't do this, but she's like, you don't need a condom. Let's just go. Let's do this now, right? You have no idea what that does for your confidence and how it never, ever, ever, ever goes away, especially when you didn't fucking have to do no money shit. You didn't have to leave a clout. It was just you. She liked you because you liked you. When you fucking find that, then you'll see 99% of the shit you see on the internet is just garbage. It's garbage. We're teaching you because you guys, you know what? We're teaching you and you guys are like, oh, it's hard. There is no fucking easy way. There is no easy way. Look in the world. Everybody's suffering. It's the hard way of trying to figure it out, or people coping and lying.
Right. And it's not that hard. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, I mean, I know I'm speaking. All right. So I'm a little sadistic in some ways, and I've done hard things.
Go in.
Okay. So I've done things that are in my life, particularly with my military service and selection process, and they're unreasonably hard, right? Like not normal people should not do some of the level of hard things that I've put myself through, it's just it's not necessary, but I mean, whatever, it was my lifestyle. So when I say things, this is not hard, I mean, I get it. Like I'm coming from a perspective of somebody who's, been deprived of food, deprived of sleep, been in some of the, the hardest training environments you could probably be in the world, you know what I mean, for the military. So like, it's like, well, okay, so that's me saying it. But the reality is like, it's enjoyable. It's a kind of hard that is enjoyable once you start to learn it. The reason why dating women is not enjoyable for a lot of you guys, and then you blame the women for it. But the reason is, okay, if you're dating low quality women, sure, that's the way it's going to go. But you guys don't have the skill at it. If you're not skilled in it, then it's going to be frustrating. It's going to be hard. When you start to get good at it, you know what I mean? And you start to learn how to have a good time and connect with other people, and like, you're not clouded by inner game bullshit and, self-esteem problems and psychological things that hold you back. Dating is a good experience. Dating is fun. Rejection is funny. It's not traumatic. You know what I mean? Like it's just like, it's all right. It's like a good time, and it's like, just like in the way that martial arts, if you start off in like a jiu-jitsu class, right? Or judo or boxing, but boxing, you're going to work basics a bit before you get thrown in the ring. If it's the right kind of a place, but let's just take it with jiu-jitsu, where you will roll with somebody as a very, very like new beginner, right? You're going to get fucking tapped out by everybody. And your first few classes are not enjoyable because you're getting your ass whooped. the first, getting your ass whooped is not necessarily an enjoyable thing. But as you start to get better and learn the game a bit, even if you're not a black belt, even if you're just a white belt with a level, but who's gotten used to rolling and learned a few moves, it starts to be enjoyable. It starts to be fun. Hard things are enjoyable when you start to learn how to do them correctly. And this is the same with dating, seduction, or just social game, connecting with others and that sort of thing. My funny story, I don't know if I don't. All right. So I don't want to, I don't get into like, let me tell you cool stories about myself or whatever to try to make you guys
Do it,
think
Uncle
I'm
Rico.
cool. Right.
Do
Yeah.
it, Uncle, do it, Uncle Rico.
Uncle Rico. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, but it's like, because when John and I are talking about this shit, we're
Throw
speaking
football
from
over those mountains.
Yeah. We're speaking from experience though, and we want you guys to have it pains us to see a lot of you guys not having good experiences, like we've had, and not even knowing what that would be like your whole world. It's like, you don't even know what that would be like. And this is not just incel guys. This is guys in relationships, guys in marriages. You haven't really felt what it's like to have that, that really good connection and desire. And it's painful to watch, but anyways, we're talking about, girls who crawl over broken glass. This is a long time ago. I came back from a training, right? And so I had like a rash, all right, in the crotch area. No, it was not an STD or anything like that. It was just, I was doing stuff over in a real, like the training area that we're training in was really swampy and gross. I was basically living in a swamp for like a couple of weeks. All right. And my skin do not do well there. And I got this skin rash all up in my crotch area. Right. And I didn't know what it was or whether it was like some sort of infection or what, like, you know what I mean? I was taking something for it. I don't remember, but I got back and I'm like, and the girl I was seeing, well, one of the girls I was seeing wanted to fuck. Right. And I'm like, well, I have this. I don't know if we should, because I don't know if you're going to get this. And she grabs me and she goes, fucking give it to me. And looked at me like she was an insane person. And I was like,
Yeah,
whoa, all right, I guess we're fucking, like it was like, it was like, did not care. Do you know what I mean? Like, give me, is that AIDS? I want it then. Give it to me. Her brain in that moment is like, fucking give it to me, dude. I don't care what you have. The amount of times I've had girls during that ovulation period just wrap their legs around me and just like fucking nut in me and like sounding like they're possessed. And you're like, what? I have like really good ninja skills and pullout skills. I wasn't just in a sniper section. I'm sniper level with my pullout skills. You know what I mean? And so like, I'm like, but you have some girl trying to fight you to put your seed inside of her. And then afterwards, she's like, I don't know what got into me. I went crazy. Yeah. I'm really sorry. Apologizing. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I can't believe I did. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. Like, I don't know what happened.
Like when you're gonna come and you're going raw and they know it and they're like, they're holding on to you. They're wanting you to stay inside them. Yeah. No, and that's another thing too, guys. The reason we want you to go and try cold approach and do stuff like this is because it is possible. Like, I think what the manosphere lies to guys, red pill lies to people a lot, saying like, you need 6-pack abs, you need to be super tall, you need to be jacked, you need all these prerequisites, and it's like, that's just not the case at all whatsoever. Like, yeah, you just have to shoot your shot. You just have to say hello. And honestly speaking, well, I just want to add something, because I went out to the club a couple weeks ago, right? Because one of my buddies was here in town, and he watched me, and I got rejected like 11 times in a row, right? And as I was getting rejected by girl after girl, he doesn't do what I do, right? And so he was kind of like starting to feel bad for me. He was like, oh man, he's like, just tell him come to the table, tell him to drink this booze with us. He was trying to help me. I was like, no, it's okay. Like, I know that it's just a numbers game. I
It's
know
part of
that
the
my
game,
yes,
especially in the club.
m-
Club is a high attrition environment for sure.
I do not have any shame. I don't have any ego. I know this shit intrinsically. I know this game like the fucking back of my hand. I do it worldwide. Okay. And so I just knew that my yes was coming. And eventually it was like girl number 14 or 15. She was a little bit of a chubby Korean girl, but it was go home by myself or snuggle up with this chubby Korean girl, right? And that's just the thing is when you finally get that hit, when you're like, okay, here's the girl that genuinely likes me for me. You know, for me, I still think like, oh, I still got it. Like I'm 40 years old. I still fucking got it. This isn't some girl from like the fucking, the third world jungle. This is like a first world Asian babe. And guys don't realize that if you go out there and you could do it in a day, you guys, I know it sounds hard, but you could do it in a day. You could cold approach 50 chicks in a day. You could cold approach 50 chicks in an hour if you wanted to. I could, if my life was on the line, they're like, cold approach 50 chicks in 30 minutes. I could do it. I could cold approach 50 chicks in 30 minutes. Right.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
what we're trying to tell you guys at the game room is the one thing that you need and the only thing that you need and the number one thing that is screwing up your life is because you don't have game. All you need is game. You do not need to be 6 foot tall. You don't need to be 6 foot tall. All these things, they're roundabout ways of getting girls but in an unreliable way, quite frankly. If you have to be jacked, if you have to be rich, if you have to have clout on social media, a lot of guys get deep, their accounts get deleted every day, you banned, whatever, and now you don't have clout. Now where you were never the man in the first place. It's like in Spider-Man when Tony Stark's like, I'm taking away your spider suit. And he's like, God damn it. If you take away that suit, that's everything. He's like, if that's everything, then you don't deserve to have the suit. Okay.
Yeah.
The muscles, the fitness, the money, all that stuff, that's icing on the cake. But the core component needs to be you, the man. Your inner game has to like who you are, and then you have to understand the game components. That's all it is. And talk to girls, open them, and dude, I'm gonna be 41 in December, and I'm fat and out of shape too right now because of the surgery. So I'm like, when does the party stop? I'm like, in my head, I'm kind of like, this is gonna be the year. This is gonna be the year. I'm gonna have to start dating 30-year-olds this year. It's just like, well, actually, still going.
It doesn't. I'll tell you, man. Like I do pretty well financially, but I was broke most of my life, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Broke to average
Yes.
most of my life.
Me too.
And I was slaying it. You know what I mean? And then what's funny is that as I had like a bunch of little minor mental sort of like, I don't want to say crisis, but where you kind of go, uh-oh. You kind of uh-oh moments, call them uh-oh moments. Where you're like, uh-oh, I'm wired a little differently than most people, so I don't like have a panic moment, but I just kind of get an uh-oh moment, like, oh shit, my hair's falling out. Oh no, this is gonna be rough. Oh, look, I'm looking older, dude, than I used to. And like, oh, uh-oh, and then like, and all that happened. Like, I don't know if you guys haven't experienced aging. It happens. You're like, you're good. Your hair fell out. Like, that's how it works. It's like, you're good. It's like a 1 year. You're like, whoa, I'm old. All of a sudden, like, what happened? That's how it kind of happens. It sort of just happens in about a year to a year and a half. You'll go through these stages in life where you just get older all of a sudden. And I'm like, uh-oh, and then, I had some health issues. I started to get like out of shape, and I wasn't, it was like more average dad bod shape for a while. And that's been changing rapidly, but and I'm like, uh-oh, no, dude, like the amount of, my girlfriend is very hot. We have tons of sex. It doesn't stop. Like, that part doesn't stop. Even if I were single, it's the amount of interest I get and the amount of interest I got when I was single as I was aging. Like, it was more. I was getting more interest than when I was better looking and in better shape, because it's just, how to have that aura and connect with others when you get reps in and you start learning these skills. Do you know what I mean? And it's all skills that we teach, and so you guys got to, you guys gotta, it's a massive advantage. I don't know how else to say it. It's the fucking silver bullet. It's the it's that, that wild card or whatever that's going to have you win every hand. When you have game, it's like you could, all of these other things could suffer. You could go through a financial crisis, or you could have a health problem, or you could lose your physique a little bit. Like stuff could happen to you, right? But when you have that game and that charisma, like no one can take it away from you. Nobody. You can only take it away from yourself by not continuing to hone your skills, or by letting your own thoughts and inner game get the best of you, the negative stuff, right? That negative downward spiral in your head, if that takes over, well, now your game is compromised. But like, it's all up to you. That's the one thing. It's like, no matter what you don't have or what you do have, that game thing will prevail every single time. Having the ability to connect with others every single time. And so like, I'll, share my screen real quick, because game is built from the ground up. And I think I showed this here before. We'll show it again. All right. So like, I want you guys to look at this. All right. So like, what this is
zoom in on it a bit if you can.
Yeah.
There you go. There's those zoom in skills you learned. I love it.
Oh, wow. That's right. All right.
Yeah.
So
Perfect.
Yeah, so these are your 6 levels, and I covered this, I think, in another one, but I'm leaning more into this because this is your way out of the trap. All right, so you starts off. Understand, you could be working, by the way, all of these numbers, like multiple ones at once. Like you could be working your social skills, your relationship, and your income and finances, which is level 3. You should always be working levels 1 and 2. Like you could be working all 6 of these at the same time in your life, but the strength or quality of like your ability, let's say, to contribute to the world, to offer charity to others, to help others out, is going to be, dependent on the lower levels. Like number 5 is your romantic relationships, your dating. Well, your ability to do that is going to be strengthened by your social capital, your social circles, your finances, the environment you're in, your lifestyle, the things you're capable of, your physical appearance, number 2, and your mindset, right? Like all of those things will support number 5, So this is why you want to pay attention. What you're really going to do is look at where your weak spots are and attack your weak spots. But the way out is you build your own personal code, whether it's religious based or not, but it's a code, right? You have your own ethics, your morals, principles you want to live by, and you hold on to those, and you build your inner game, your mental health, and your purpose in your frame, and you get yourself physically fit, and you learn some knowledge or skills in life that are going to help you. Like this is where it starts. But even before that, part of your inner game work is getting rid of the things that keep you in the matrix to begin with. That would be your porn addiction. That would be your internet. I want to say addiction, because you can be on the internet for stuff, but it's like, are you letting the internet substitute your reality? Are you going down a pathway online with politics, marketing, manosphere shit, whatever, that's taking you away from what you should be experiencing in real life? Is media, even like video games. I like video games. Video games are fun, right? But video games don't replace touching grass for me. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't consider myself a gamer because I don't play long enough to get good at it, because I'm out busy touching grass. You know what I mean? But like, I got a PS5 for my son, and then I started playing. It's like, hey, this shit's pretty fucking cool, right? But like, I have other things to do. So how often am I going to really do that? Not very often. You see, I do use social media for my business, but it doesn't take me away from my reality. You know what I mean? And that's the thing. You have to build a life. You got to start thinking, how can I live outside of that matrix? Maybe you're doing traveling and geomaxing to get away from some of these toxic people. Maybe you're just sourcing women in the larger town with more women on a Friday night that's 45 minutes to an hour away instead of staying in a small town where there's not a lot going on. Maybe that's the solution when it comes to women. Maybe you're learning some skills and different ways of making money that doesn't have you trapped in a job you hate and in a low income. You know what I mean? Maybe you're building different social circles, that social capital here, right? Number 4, that elevates you into doing things different. People with resources and who are leading good lives, they don't do shit like the rest of everybody else who's addicted to the internet, addicted to drugs or alcohol and pornography and having shitty relationships. If your social circles are all these people in shitty relationships who fucking get wasted Friday, Saturday night before their jobs on Monday, who are fucking can't appreciate even just taking a walk outside in the woods or whatever. If that's your fucking, if that's like your circle, you got to change your circles, man, and you got to build a life outside of that whole matrix and what everyone else is doing, because in the matrix, all the women hate you. They all hate you there because they've been socially conditioned to hate you, and you're going to be a slave there, and we don't want you to be a slave. You know what I mean? I just made myself, I can't put myself back in. You got to put me back in. Put me back in.
Here we go.
Yeah, I can't do it.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah. Anyways, but yeah, we don't want you guys to be slaves. And so this is why you join like John's Telegram. This is why you get into my community, because we're building a secret society, a secret society, not of weirdos, of following some weirdo shit, but like a secret society of people who are going to live life outside of things. I live life outside of that shit in probably one of the most difficult dating markets in the world. I'm in, I'm right outside of Detroit, Michigan. Fucking fat ghetto all over. And then Muslims that hate America if you go to the West. I mean, that's what's going on. You know what I mean? That's what's going on. Some woman got shot by some kid. It was all over the news, just in the face, going into some convenience store, right? Just whatever. I worked for the medical examiner. Murders like that were happening every weekend. I used to handle dead bodies for the medical examiner, because apparently when you're in special operations, you get that means it's like staying at a Holiday Inn. They think you can do everything. So I was helping the coroner and detectives and handling the bodies on crime scenes and getting bodies to the morgue for medical examination from murders. That's what I did for a period of time when I was building my other businesses, because I could do it on call and work at night and stuff. Murders like that, Detroit, yeah, that shit's happening fucking 6-7 times on a weekend easily. You know what I mean? And so that's just with shifts I would work. Like, I would see this stuff. All this stuff's going on. Do you know how much exposure I have to that? Fucking zero. First of all, if any of that ends up on my doorstep, holy shit, you just made my day. I get to get a CONUS kill now. You know what I mean? I haven't, what? I get to take it back to fucking, I've murdered people overseas, so we're going to do it on my own property. If anyone decides to come and bring crime and destruction and terrible things to my doorstep, it's going to be a fun day for me. But, they're not going to do that. That does not, all of my neighbors are millionaires. You know what I mean? I walk outside to a lake. Now, again, it's just, that's the life I've built. And I have a son and family in Michigan, so I don't want to not live in Michigan. John, he did a different path. He said, you know what? This is a shithole, and I do have family in the United States, but I'm going to leak. You know what? I don't have young kids. I'm going to go travel somewhere else where I can have, not these crazy fat liberals around me all day long. Okay, cool. And now you look at behind you, got a nice penthouse right now, just moved in, right? Got a beautiful view, got a hot woman making your food, right? This is your choosing to do life on your own terms. I'm doing life on my terms, given, previous choices I make. And the earlier in life you can start doing that, the better. But it's never too late. If you're watching us and you're fucking 60 years old, I've had clients in their 60s. Shit, I need to get permission to use this guy's photo because it was a client of mine. He was a client of mine a few years ago, and he still like is in my community and follows stuff. Fucking this guy's awesome, right? I love this guy. He's a great guy. He's older than me. He's not like this uber wealthy guy or anything like that, but he does well for himself. He's got kids. He's been divorced for a while. He's got some girlfriend who he's older than me. He's got his girlfriend looks younger than my girlfriend. Maybe I don't know if she is or not though. She's probably in her late 20s. She looks like, dude. And people, he threw the picture up on X and was like, yeah, man, thanks for your help. You know, you're right about cold approach. This girl would have swiped on me all day long on a dating app and wouldn't give me the time of day because of how much the age gap. But I just talked her up and we hit it off and that was it. Yeah, exactly. Use these skills we teach you, these skills of connecting with others. And, he's got this girl in love with him. You know what I mean? And so he's having the time of his life. He's doing life on his own terms. He stepped out of the matrix. You have to step out of this shit, not in some weird, like, I'm not trying to, whatever, it's popular to shit on the Tates right now. So I'm not trying to do that. But, but that was the thing, like, although their marketing was the Matrix, but that we're not saying get out of the Matrix by following some weird fucking thing that be like me, no, I'm not saying to be like me or be like John. We want you to be like yourself. You know what I mean?
Right.
We want you to live life on your own terms. Be like you. That's the key. We're going to help you do that. That's what we do on a daily basis with guys. Right. And we're hopefully imparting some of that with you here. You know what I mean? Do you want to take a pause and go through some of these supers here?
Yeah, let's take a look at this. We got a couple super chats here. Earlier, we had one from Geo says, that was from Siege first. Woohoo. Paul and MLD are back. Hey, we never left, buddy. We've been here. Appreciate you. Geo says, don't you think society and media's influence are stronger in a woman's mind than her man's game and frame? Don't you think there are too many risk factors? Go ahead, Paul. Go ahead.
You're fucking like, I can't do it with this guy anymore. All right. But for fun, we'll do this. Okay. Listen, man, my girl's Facebook isn't making her vagina come to where she passes out. I don't know how else I can illustrate this for you guys. That's what I get to do, right? My girl's fucking, if she has Snapchat or something, she doesn't really have social media anymore like she did when I met her. See, that's the funny part, is that they voluntarily give up their social media when they're in a relationship with good frame. But my whatever shit's going on in the internet doesn't replace what I do to my girl's mind and limbic system, and emotional systems. When she is with me, she gets a much higher reward than she's going to get scrolling aimlessly through shit. Scrolling all these fucking dumb apps, right, isn't high reward. It's just dopamine inducing. So what it does is it numbs your reward system. It tires it out. It's not like a massive reward. It's just like a repetitive, it's actually what it is it's hitting your motivation system so that you're searching for reward. So when people are scrolling, they're not satisfied, or they would stop scrolling and they would watch something, right? So like if you were, satisfied with, YouTube, our video or something, you would be like, you have been watching our video, paying attention, listening to us talk, communicating, right? When you're scrolling, you're not satisfied by nature of what you're doing. It's practicing a pattern of dissatisfaction, looking for that next thing. So your brain is practicing being unsatisfied, and your dopamine is looking to get that reward that it never really gets to have. It's intermittent. And that's how casinos work. That's how, addictions work. It's an intermittent reward, you see? And so a low reward that's just intermittent is numbing to the brain, which makes a girl not be able to appreciate let's say, the sexual reward and the
Anything.
relational reward that she would get with a guy. Now, if you know how to come into a girl's life, though, and create a massive reward with her that makes her put her fucking phone down, then she becomes more addicted to that payoff. And this other payoff of scrolling is now not a payoff for her. She looks away from that. And now she's not interested in the social conditioning that can happen to her through these platforms. And then on top of that, she's having this, not only just having great sex, but having a great time, having somebody feeling understood by you, feeling like, for the first time in her life that she's connecting with another person, right? Or maybe the first time in a long time, right? And now it just changes the way she looks at things. When she sees something that's outside of the frame of your relationship, she sees that as a dangerous or as silly and retarded. And then she retreats right back into your relationship. That's how that works. When my girl sees something like this fucking Lindsay Clancy shit, you know what I mean? She's not standing outside somewhere holding the sign. She's like, what are these fucking crazy people doing? Wow, that's fucking crazy. I don't even want to look at that. Let's fucking, you know what I mean? Let's do something else. That's what happens to her brain because she's in a rewarding relationship. You don't have this, you have to learn these skills in order to create that reward. It's all behavioral, you know what I mean? But when you connect with someone on a deeper level, that is how in part how our brain is designed. So you have to tap into that part of her brain and yours to override this other bullshit. But right now you're actually Geo, you're actually still in the we could say the matrix, in that slavery. You're not out of it. You're in the fish tank still saying, looking at the rest of the room, but the rest of the room is blurry. All right. And you're asking questions about the room. You know what I mean? And that's okay. That's a start. But right now you got to start taking action, bro, to get out of the fish tank. That's the thing. You got to you got to look at that list of 6 things, right? Maybe go to my community, John's Telegram, start saying don't ask questions, hypotheticals anymore. I mean, you can here if you want. We're just having a chat on Game Room. So if you want to keep asking questions, it's fine. Okay, that's cool. But like, really, if you come to my community, your question needs to be, all right, what action do I need to take, or how do I I need to improve this area. I need to improve that area. How do I take action to make that happen? That needs to be the questions, not hypotheticals about, well, what if I'm with a girl and she really likes TikTok and then she fucking doesn't want to be in my frame? And okay, these are hypothetical things that you're not experiencing because you don't have if you had a woman that you were dating for 6 months that's kind of addicted to her phone, and you're like, well, we go out, we do this, we have sex this many times a week. Here's how that goes. Here's how this goes. But she's addicted to the phone still. What do I do about that? That would be a question based in reality. I would give you now a strategy to get her unaddicted to her phone or to find a better girl. It's going to be one or the other, right? So that's what would happen, right? That's what would happen in a consultation or in even a question on the community. But you're asking a hypothetical question about a hypothetical girl. Well, you see the problem. You see, you're still in that fish tank. You're still in that matrix, man. We got to get you out of that matrix. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing here. We got to get you out of that. What else we got here?
Let's see. We got a couple more. I'm going to power through some of these. These are just little ones from David. Thank you, David. Love how you don't sugarcoat. White women submit. Yes. Anti-whiteism, hating men are religions in the West. Also very true. Let me see something real quick. Women with attitudes need men to check their egos. Yeah, people with attitudes need to be checked. Just men have the threat of violence behind them, whether they want to admit it or not. Mr. Wolf, $10 super chat says, never have the defeatist attitude, not just with women, but all aspects. Intense fire forges steel. Don't let the shadow self defeat you. Get up and dust yourself off. Continue forward. Positivity. Yes, thank you so much. And then another one, $10. For younger guys, being positive about life comes with age and experience too. It's easy to blow off what MLD and Paul, my comments are saying, but it's the truth. You can't let life get you down for long periods. No, no, exactly. In order to succeed, you have to be optimistic. You have to have a good attitude. Well, one of the things Hormozy said too that really pissed me off because it was so true. He's like, if you could be angry and in a bad mood for no reason, you could be in a good mood for no reason.
Right.
And it's true. It is true. Everything's within your control, but it's easier and it's more satisfying to blame outside forces, be like, well, it's because of the economy, it's because men are being demonized, these are the reasons why my life sucks. Well, actually, no, your life sucks because you suck, right? And that's just the bottom line. It's just a direct representation of your competency as a man. And if you're in a first world country and it's after the age of 35 and you haven't figured out your game and your money, then you're behind the curve. You're running out of time. You're on the back 40 because, again, getting older as a guy, when you have game, that means life is going to get better because your game's going to get better. But as a man, as you get older and you don't have game, your life gets worse because you keep going through these same emotionally draining and unsatisfying relationship with woman after woman because you lack the capability, you lack the skills, you lack the components to lead and guide a woman to make her become in her feminine. Women go into their feminine after they realize they can trust you, they can let their guard down, they could be feminine. They can cook, they can clean, they can, initiate sex with you, all these things, right? But you have to have game and frame and lead the interaction for that to happen. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. And you're going to just be like the rest of these angry, upset incels. And the incel thing's going to continue to grow. And the game is going to continue to be harder and harder over in the West as the supply of fat women continues to grow, with that feminism on top of it too. So you could sit there and gamble with your life all you want, but the strategy now, Paul, I don't know if you agree with me on this, but I tell the guys the strategy now is like, because to even womanize in America, you need to be in a very populated city, first of all. And then, secondly, with the supply of these chicks, falling off, I would tell guys it's probably, and most guys say this to me anyways, it's better off just to get a girlfriend these days and just focus on other parts of your life instead of, trying to sell your wild oats. Like, again, if you're in a popular area and it has a lot of population and it's possible, it's viable, and you can do it, sure, do it. Right. But I think, I don't know. I think it's just better long-term plan.
I agree, man. Here's the thing. Like, both of us have done our fair share of womanizing. And, womanizing too was a consequence of how women were also, I will say. It wasn't that's another important thing. It's funny how we're just, let's be guys here. I know there's like two girls here listening when the rest of us are guys, right? Let's be dudes here and have a dude conversation for a minute. We'll let those 2 or 3 women that are listening, we'll let them sort of put their ear to the door. All right. But the reason why dudes womanize is because that's what women create. You know what I mean? We're just trying to connect with a woman because we want to have sex, but we want to have like more than that. Like, once we are having sex, we want a girl to desire us. We want that connection with a woman, and like when I was young, I didn't dream about juggling 3, 4, or 5 girls a week. I dreamed about having a fucking beautiful woman that was my woman, that was loyal to me, that was all the things. And then when women out in the dating market brought their disloyalty and their fucking crazy erratic behavior and some of the shit, when they brought that shit, and I realized that being the guy who's just after the relationship and the nice guy that's getting girls to pass me over, and that's getting girls to treat me like shit, I'm not going to fucking do that anymore. I'm going to live life on my terms, and I'm going to fuck bitches and do whatever I want. And if a girl wants a relationship, she better fucking convince me. Once I had that framework, well, that things changed. It was the women that created that change, because I learned through behavioral conditioning experience that being the guy after the relationship is not the answer, but being in a relationship is the answer, right? So like, how do we do this, right? Well, the answer is you are doing your thing as a guy. You are creating a world for yourself outside of this shithole matrix that everybody else is in. And then you go out and you have sex with women and have drinks with women and have laughs with women and have fun and go on a hike with a chick and do whatever, right? And meet hot chicks and have fun and fuck them. And then you go back to your world. What you're looking for is the women that are having such a good time that they want to repeat that experience. And then as they want to repeat that experience, they go, I want more of this. I see this life you're living, and I see that it is something that I'm attracted to. And I'm attracted to you, I'm attracted to you, first of all. And second of all, I see how you're doing things, and it's better than how I'm doing things. Please show me the way, right? And then that girl becomes your girlfriend. But there's a reason why, like, the most successful people in the world have one chick. You notice that? The most successful people in the world aren't sitting in jail right now wondering if they're going to get extradited to the UK and having to, hide money and shit and hope that the state doesn't fucking take it from them. You know what I mean? The shit that those guys, they're not the most successful people in the world. All right. The most successful people in the world, like, think of like your Warren Buffetts. Warren Buffett has had the same wife. And you know what? He's been remarried when the other wife died. So he had one wife for a long time, and then she died, and then he got another wife. Tony Robbins, I'm pretty sure it's married, and it's the same woman for a while. We start going down the line of fucking billionaires and millionaires. They got one fucking chick. Now, not all of them are good in their relationships and having peak relationships. We know that it's really only like 10% of those guys are really having peak relationships. But the reason for one woman, even though they could fucking be Dan Blitzerian, any one of them could be Dan Blitzerian and hang out on a boat all day and just have hoes coming in and out. And they probably went through periods of their lives where they did fuck through a bunch of hoes before they settled in, right? But there's a reason why these guys settle in with one chick, because if they're out accomplishing shit in the world, they don't have time for fucking 10 different hoes. I lead a peaceful life, and I'm worried about my spiritual and mental health right now. I don't want to be juggling 10 fucking women. So I have a beautiful girlfriend. That's it. You know what I mean?
Juggling 10 women is bad for your spiritual health too. It's kind of not.
It really is.
It's not that great.
It really is. Now some guys do like your friend or whatever will do like the harem thing, and that's okay. But that's a lot of management, though. That's a lifestyle choice. I've helped guys with their game in those scenarios. A couple of them were like Muslim guys, not from the United States, who have multiple wives, and I've helped them do the harem thing. In some ways, I've generally done a soft harem myself, meaning one committed relationship, occasionally bringing a third girl in, that kind of thing. That's okay. But for me, I find that it's less management and less bullshit, less drama to fucking deal with. You know what I mean? I don't want my time and energy taken up with woman drama. So right. It's better to have, and there's a closeness you can have with one chick that you might not. Most guys can't have that with two or three, I'm not saying it's impossible though, because that would be incorrect. It is possible. And if that's your dream, you want to do the harem thing, hey man, I got all the advice for you, because I've helped guys do that. But the point is, it's like, you have a lifestyle choice. Most guys who want peace and want fulfillment and want to make a dent in the universe, they pick one chick. Now you can womanize and go do a pickup artist weekend, you know, or someplace that isn't us, and learn how to get drunk sixes to sleep with you. They will definitely
Nah.
buy at least one or two hookers, and maybe you get to, you know, get one of the hookers that weekend. That would be great. Hopefully that's worth your $20,000. And then you go around fucking sixes and saying you're spinning plates when really you're in love with a seven and she doesn't like you, and then you're
Nah.
fucking two or three sixes. And you can do that, and then say you're, you know, you're womanizing, you're the fucking man. You're gonna come to the conclusion, even if you get good at that, and are, you know, those sixes turn to sevens to eights to nines, you end up coming to the conclusion that you just want a relationship with a good chick, because that's a conclusion we all come up with. Most dudes who don't, and I'm not going to say every guy, but there are a few guys who don't come to this conclusion. Most of those guys have something wrong with them, and I'm being serious. That's not all of them, but most of them, like, who want to be like players for life or whatever, like there's something mentally wrong with them. There's usually narcissism or some sort of personality disorder at work, you know. But most dudes, even these pickup guys, they end up with a girlfriend. They end up with a steady, you know, girl. Whether that is a steady monogamous relationship or not is another story that can be all over the map. But, you know, but they end up with a ride or die chick. You know, they end up with a girlfriend or a wife. That's how it goes. I mean, all these dudes who, you know, run the pickup circles, whatever, a lot of them end up with a girl that came because they worked on the pickup and they didn't work on the relationship dynamic, which is a different dynamic. So they get fucked up. You know, you have the famous story about Mystery, like losing his fucking mind over one chick. You know what I mean? But what did this guy, Mystery, right? He's fucking 8 feet tall, looks like a goth magician, and fucking girls all over California, right? Because he actually had a decent game. What is happening, right? He's falling in love with a girl and losing his fucking mind, right? One woman. That's what ends up happening. Happens to all of us, you know. Most of us who are not antisocial personality disorder and want to fucking make a dent in the universe, that's the conclusion we all come up with. So you can, you know, I mean, you just have to do it in a certain way, though. If you're attacking this problem by walking around on every date going, I want a girlfriend. Are you the girlfriend for me? Let me ask you 20 questions to see if you're good girlfriend material. Like, if that's what you're doing, you're fucking not going to be successful. You have to just go out, have fun, make sex happen, right? Connect with other people, do it on a deep level, and then let them go, because you don't have an attachment problem. So you let them go, and then they come back when they're not mentally ill and they like you, or sometimes they are mentally ill and they come back and you got to kick them to the curb. But you get what I'm saying. And then eventually you narrow it down and you're in a relationship. That's how it should go. But she should be qualifying to you for that relationship. You know what I mean? And that's something that you need to learn from us, or someplace at least, you know?
You know, the game is deep, like I said, and, you know, thank you, Paul, for adding to that, because that's the way I'm looking at things right now, because the market has changed. Now, if you're outside of America, you're outside of Canada, you're outside of the UK, you're outside of Australia, you know, you could still go and womanize until your 50s, because there's truly abundance around the
you
world.
can do it.
There is
Look,
true
stop
abundance.
womanizing. You and I didn't stop womanizing because we had to. We just like, we just want more stability, you know. And are we really stopped? I don't know. You know, we don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But all I can say, because we can always, that's the thing. If something were to happen in either of our relationships, like, you know, relationships don't always last forever. We can always flip that switch, go right back to it. Go right back to having a roster if we wanted to. We just choose not to. It's not, you know, my choice not to is a choice, not a choice that was made for me. And that's what's important about that, right? Most people, most guys that get married are not really doing it fully by choice. They don't have a lot of options. So they kind of have to lock somebody down. You know, that's kind of where their mindset's at, and that's where their skill level's at. We want you to step outside of this fucked up matrix that's designed to make you a slave, lead your own life, which includes, you don't have to settle down with anybody you don't want to. You know what I mean? And then with that, you will come to your own conclusion that, hey, this girl's the right girl. I think I do want to actually give her that commitment and build something with her. You'll come to that conclusion on your own, but it won't be from scarcity. It'll be from a place of skill and abundance, and that's what we want for you. You know?
And game is a prerequisite to having these abundance of choices and stuff. I think that's why Paul and I were like the only happy people on Rule Zero, because we were actually having sex and had true game and abundance amongst those people. You know, because everybody else is kind of like, it's like women are gay. You know. Let me read some of these super chats. David is back again. Oh no, Mr. Wolf is back. $5. Thank you, Mr. Wolf. Work hard in 20s, play in your 30s, 40s. So yeah, or work hard and play in your 20s, 30s, 40s, right? It doesn't,
Yeah.
you know, I will
levels you
just
should be
say,
working on all at the same time. You know, like don't ever work on dating. That's why I'm going to give that advice. Sorry to interrupt, but don't ever
No, you're
not. It's
good.
like that's like saying don't work out, right? Like don't ever not be working on that part of your life, because the biggest drive you have in your monkey brain is to have sex and procreate. And so if you don't have a
Mhm.
way of satisfying that drive, it's going to start to make you fucked up and mentally ill. And so like they're being serious. That's what happens to a lot of these guys. So
Yeah.
you always, whether
Yeah.
you're in a relationship or whether you're just out in the dating market, even if you're fucking broke, like even if you're not where you, I don't want to say broke, like if you're at verge of being homeless next week, okay, don't worry about dating right now. Work on something else. But if you have some, even if you're low income, but you have at least enough stability and some of those things, obviously work on income and work on your purpose as the number one thing. But part of working on that is your health, right? You're still going to have a good fitness habit, because that's going to increase your ability to be successful, right? Well, guess what? Having your mating problem solved is going to help your business and finance life. That's the thing. Not solving that problem and having to retreat to pornography is going to hinder, because it's going to start to fuck your brain up and pull you away from your ability to be successful. And that's the reality, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Weak low test sims must hit the gym, toughen up. Yeah, sleep is the biggest thing I think fucking people's testosterone up these days. Tony
Yep.
Romas, sure, let's go. Thanks for the $2.
Fucking good.
Miguel DDS10 499 on Paul's channel says, I noticed that I attach my self-worth to the validation of women. That's very common.
Yeah.
When I face several rejections, I feel like shit. What should I do? I'm going to say something, then I'll let you go, Paul. So you have to take this with a grain of salt. I tell guys it's good that you feel like shit when you get rejected, because it lets me know you're alive, you're not a sociopath. And
that's true. It's a very good point.
That's first green flag, is right. So you're not a sociopath. That's good. B is this is just you getting familiar with the game. You have to understand, dude, you probably shouldn't take it seriously, because I would say the majority of times a girl rejects you, I don't know. It's probably because she just got some of the other shit in her life going on, more so than unless you're just disgusting. If you're disgusting, then yeah, it's probably you, right?
Yeah.
But then the third part is, dude, that's just the game. Like I said, when I was doing cold approaches, I don't know if you were listening on this episode earlier, but the simple math that we have ran on coaching guys behind the scenes with me since 2023, you're 1 for 130 cold approaches. So if you can muster up the strength to do 130 cold approaches, one of those chicks will have sex with you, assuming your game is not completely, abhorrent, right? You have some baseline proficiency. But the thing is, most guys get to girl 13, 14, and it's like, oh, I'm fucking ugly, I'm a loser, I hate my life. And it's not a perfect one and girl 130. It's out of 130 instances, you will typically get one hit. You know what I mean? And the thing, and so the thing is, what I tell guys too, no, I'm serious. You should test it out too. We have more data coming soon.
Yeah. But I'll say something about that when you're done, though. That's fine.
Yeah, but ultimately, to answer your question here, what should you do to stop this? You're not going to stop this. So you just have to stop. you have to start framing it like, okay, that girl's just going through something, or she has terrible taste in men. That's how you need to frame it. Because the way I look at it, any girl that I meet, there's a 99% chance I would just statistically level that girl's mind up so fucking much from where she is. I look at them like, okay, well, you're just retarded. Like you're just making bad choices. Paul, what do you think? I'll put it up there for you again.
Yeah. So this is I'm gonna paraphrase some things for you today, but I want to direct you to the community, my community, where I wrote a big post / article. It's titled "You Knew What to Do and You Blew It with Her Anyway. Here's Why." Okay, so that's a recent article. It's really fucking kind of deep. All right. So now here's the thing on that. You're still in the mental framework of good enough versus not good enough. All right. So that's where your mental framework is. All right. And so you're still thinking it like that. But you know, let's say I had an apple in my hand, right? This coffee mug here, right? This coffee mug I got. Is this coffee mug gray enough? Kind of a stupid fucking question, isn't it? Gray enough for what? Okay, gray enough for a girl to want it, let's say. I don't know. Does the girl like coffee mugs? Or does she hate coffee mugs? Does she like coffee mugs, but she doesn't like gray ones and only likes a certain other color? Maybe this, in my case, obviously, this coffee mug is way too big for her and it hurts. Or maybe this coffee mug is too small. No, but you get what I'm saying, right? It's like in terms of fucking what? Is this coffee mug gray enough? Are you good enough for a girl? Good enough for what? Good enough for, you know what I mean? Like it's the wrong question, and that question is not. It's actually a stupid question. You know what I mean? Not that you're stupid for having it. It's just a byproduct of your limbic system. So here's what happens. Your limbic system sends you signals, and you have to understand that are meant for you to survive and for the tribe to procreate. So I'll say that again, and this is simple language, but I break it down in the article more scientifically. Your limbic system is designed for you to survive long enough so that the tribe can procreate. Notice how I didn't say you procreate, okay? The tribe procreates. We need to send offspring into the next generation that shares similar DNA to you. That's what the natural selection is all about, and sexual selection. But there's different ways to send that DNA into the next generation. And one of the common ways is that incels sacrifice themselves for the tribe so that,
oh no,
right? That's the reality of it. And so that's part of your brain is designed for you to not do that, to go into battle and die, or to, you got sick. You're going to wander off in the wilderness and be by yourself until you're dead now. And the tribe is going to procreate. That is our limbic system wiring. But guess what? My limbic system wiring and my physical capabilities says that I shouldn't be flying in the sky, but I fly in airplanes all the time, right? So you're not a prisoner to your fucking limbic system. You just got to understand where it came from. Your limbic system makes you nervous in front of women. Why? Because it makes you fear rejection, makes you feel bad about yourself. Why? Because not every man was meant to fuck women. Only the top 20% that would fuck multiple women. Well, it's really the top 40% would fuck multiple women and create stronger offspring. That's what hypergamy is. The rest of the dudes didn't get any pussy. And if they tried to get pussy, they would get beat up or killed by stronger people, pushed out of the tribe to die on their own. Or if they got rejected by a woman, all the other women would reject them too, because then there goes your social proof. There's only 50 people in your tribe to include children and old people. So you only got 3 available chicks. You know what I mean? If you try to go to the other tribe, they're going to fucking kill you. So most guys died with no mating opportunity. Most guys didn't procreate, but what they ended up doing was sacrificing themselves and their resource capabilities or protection capabilities so that the other offspring could succeed. Now, when you understand that, okay, that's not, now I know the like guys with poor inner game are going to hear that and go, I'm just meant to be a loser then and not mate with women. No, fucking retard. All right. That's not what it is. Okay. It's just that you have to understand that epigenetically, things will trigger a genetic response, right? So the environment triggers it. Getting rejected by women, not being tall enough, not having this, not having that, just triggers the internal response for you to go run off and be an incel. But you don't have to follow that response. You can choose another way. If you can choose to, because there's plenty of short guys who led the tribe and fucked people up because they would have their two bigger guys who were dumber than they were, fuck other people up for them. Think of the crime boss. You know what I mean? He's getting all the bitches, has all the big, strong men fucking following his orders. Plenty of fucking short alphas out there. And you think because you're not fucking 6 feet tall and you're 5'10" instead, you can't get women. Plenty of guys who are ugly fucked plenty of women. It was all what was being triggered in their minds. Alpha guys had something else triggered in their minds, or they just didn't listen to that part of their brain that was telling them to go run off and die in the wilderness or labor or be a simp or fucking bring girls supplies so that they can fuck the fucking leader of the tribe. You know what I mean? Like there was something in the alpha guy's brain that said not to do that. And he just became the 20% now. That's all it fucking was, man. It's what's going on up in here. It's not, I mean, you're going to make this part better, right? Well, gotta get the flex in. You're going to make that part better, right? Make your fighting skills, make your resource getting skills, all that shit. You're going to improve all that stuff for sure. But that's not even fucking what it is, man. It's what's going on in your head. So you got to eliminate this idea of the coffee cup is not fucking gray enough and applying that psychology to yourself. Oh, I'm not good enough. And that's why no, it doesn't. None of that fucking matters. And what you do is you transfer it into a strategy. The other part of it is you have something called your default mode network, which is what is your brain's default to push inward and start self-criticizing and self-doing all this stuff. And then you have your task focus network, which puts you on a task. Do you notice when you're buried in a task, you're not thinking about yourself, right? So when you do pickup, you put you convert your brain over into a task focus network, and you do that. So now whatever your inner game is, oh, I think I'm a loser. Well, who cares? Because you're still talking to this girl and going to get laid. Your task focus network part of your brain shifts you into the action, and you're not worried about or thinking about whatever fucking bullshit you got going on in your head. The problem is you guys are in your default mode network thinking about yourselves, and that makes you selfish. Not selfish, self-centered. Many of you guys would give the shirt off your backs to somebody, so I don't mean selfish by like your morals or principles, but I'm talking about self-centered. When you're self-centered, you can't connect with a woman. You're worried about you and, oh, am I good enough and all that shit, that good enough stuff. You're thinking about all the stuff inside of you, and now you miss. Your timing is off. Like, I don't say something special to a girl and she finds herself attracted to me. If it was something that I was saying that was special, I would just give you the line and then you could go say the magic words, which is what a lot of pickup guys try to like promote. But that's not what it is. It's the timing, it's the nuance, it's the recognizing her behavior and being able to play off her behavior in real time, in that moment, without any hesitation, without any fucking, I'm in my head. Should I say this or what should I do? No fucking inner feelings of tension, all just recognizing what she's doing and just going, responding. Whatever I rehearsed and practiced for pickup stuff, now I'm in the sparring match now. Now it comes out. Boom, I'm in real time. If any of you guys have ever boxed before, you're working your skills and thinking about it. When you get in the ring, if you're thinking about your skills, you're getting punched in the face, right? It has to just happen real time. And so like, that's what needs to happen for you. And you don't do that without reps, and you don't do that without learning how to get inside your head. That's the inner game stuff.
Yeah.
And one other thing about it, I want to mention the self-centered thing. When you realize that you're being self-centered and you're also being entitled, kind of like a woman. I'm only saying this to fucking motivate you, okay? But it's also true. Why the fuck would a girl sleep with you? What's so special about you? Is she supposed to sleep with you? She's not supposed to sleep with me either. So I'm not downplaying you. Why would any girl sleep with me just to sleep with me? Like, what about me entitles me to have girls on my dick? Nothing. It's all about how I make them feel through my actions. There's no entitlement here. So if I'm feeling like, oh, discouraged and woe is me, and why doesn't this girl want to respond to me the right way? And I'm in my head, I'm fucking not only self-centered, but I'm being very entitled. Just like a woman who's, some women who don't have any agency whatsoever, just being fucking like, I should have a better lifestyle. Really? Well, do you work for that lifestyle? You know what I mean? It's that entitlement mentality. This girl should fuck me right now. Why should she fuck you? Why should she fuck you? Because and then it's this idea, the mythical Chad comes in, right? Like, and then she fucks him and not you. It's like this, it's crazy idea because it's very entitled. It's like, well, I just wasn't Chad, so I can't get the girl to fuck me. It's nuts. And you have to get rid of all of that bullshit and just focus on the task. Just like an athlete focusing on the play, focusing on the sparring match, whatever it is, you got to do that. It's an inner game thing. There's tools I give guys to do that. And then it's learning the skills and getting out there and doing the skills. And that's the only thing that's going to get you out of it. You can get to a point where you don't feel shit at all about rejection. It does happen, but that's a higher level of inner game though. But you don't have to get to that higher level of inner game to get women though. All you have to do is like go get out of your default mode networking into your task focused network. You just got to do that brain shift where you're just focused on the girl and you're noticing what the girl's doing and you're responding. You might have poor inner game. A lot of pickup guys do have poor inner game, but they don't focus on it when they're picking up on the girl. That's the difference. And so you have to shift your mind and you're probably going to feel bad about yourself for a while because it takes a lot of time and inner game practice. I literally do an inner game discipline every day, a meditation, different things for my brain every single day. And I'm pushing 50. So, okay, if you're half my age, maybe it's going to take you a while to get there, but that doesn't mean you can't enjoy women in the process of getting there. You have to get out of your head and into the experience. That's the difference. And you can't do that from sitting on a computer. You can't do that talking about women, but not talking to women. You know what I mean? And there's some inner game stuff, some meditation stuff. All right. It's actually very simple. It's mindfulness meditation and focusing and like you could take like a candle and practice staring at this candle and breathing with no inner thoughts. And then you won't make it 30 seconds. So you're going to get an inner thought, but that's the rep, right? The rep is how long can I go without an inner thought interrupting me. Well, I should put it there. Without an inner thought interrupting me. How long can I be just focused on the candle, only noticing the candle and not in my inner thoughts? That's your drill. If you do that shit every day and talk to women and follow John's pickup advice and follow, these things that I tell you to, you're going to start doing better. And this shit that happens inside of you, it's not going to fucking happen anymore. You know what I mean? After a period of time. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would, like I said, and a lot of these, going back to, because we're really giving you your super chat's worth here, pal. The fact that you're doing the cold approaches already literally puts you ahead of 99% of guys.
Yeah, it's already doing good. So,
yeah.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah, so now you're just dealing with the next level of, new level, new devil, right? So you're dealing with the pain side of it. But again, the more you do this, the more you'll become numb to it too. Like a girl could spit in my face, I'd be like, oh, her dad probably fucking beat her up when she was 8. Just like I'm so zen now, like I'm just I'm so zenned out. You know what I mean? So I don't even care what a woman tries to say to reject me, because it's just like it doesn't. I don't care. I don't. Your opinion has no effect on me. And one thing to tie in what Paul was saying about you being selfish, and that's the like critical rule to break of being a seducer. Because if you want to be a high level seducer is always focused outwardly on the person they're trying to seduce. They're
Yes.
never focused
Mhm.
on themselves.
Right.
The fact that you're looking here when you should be looking there is also a tactical error. So now you know. So get out of your head, and because you got to start getting in her head. Remember, control the mind. You
Mhm.
know, that's what they want. That's why they read these erotic novels. That's why
Yeah.
the number one book sales on the planet to this day.
Some sociopath controlling some girl's brain and fucking them.
Yeah,
That's
it's
their favorite reading material.
it's these erotic novels. Look it up. Ask AI. They're the
Mhm.
number one selling books on the planet right now, and it's because they can't get what they want. But you read those books, you go talk to these chicks, dude. You become the guy, right? You
Yeah.
become the guy. Like I was watching James. You know how many times I've watched a James Bond movie with a girl, and she's like, "Oh my god, you're just like James Bond." I'm like, no, you're watching that hot girl, and you want to be the girl getting fucked by James Bond.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what you're doing here.
That's so
But
funny.
it's fine.
It's fine.
You know?
It's the mirroring neurons. It's so true though. That's a really good point. And it's hilarious. They will project shit onto you. Like I'm every fucking alpha male in every movie to my girlfriend. I'm not in real
Yep.
life, I don't think, but I mean definitely to my girlfriend though, and that's all that matters. You know, that's all that matters, dude. That's you're she wants to live the fantasy with her main character being herself, and you're the person, you know, who's the dude in the fantasy. That's what she wants. And you can but yeah, it's so that being able to respond in real time, man, that's just so fucking when I was studying stuff on, you know, just neuroscience and just because I read stuff because I'm a nerd, right? And I was just when I came across this thing about like that understanding default net mode network and you know task focus network, which is just it's just your different way your brain is connecting to do something, right? I was like, fuck,
Yes.
dude, that's exactly what it is because how do these guys come across awkward or guys I'm coaching? You see them just they're just off, but you are trying to get them to not be off, and you can't figure out. And at first, you know, coaching guys, you're like trying to work on the external skill stuff, which is what you should attack first, anyways. But it's like, yeah, they're saying the right thing or they have the right tools. Fuck, they could coach another guy even because that's how well they know the material but they're in the moment and it's just like they're just coming off weird. How is that? Well, they're in their fucking heads. So the timing is off. There's a certain timing that happens when you are into another person and connecting with them, you know, and it's got to be in real time where you're responding and understanding them and sort of saying that right, the spontaneous thing that just happens to be the right thing. But you weren't worried about whether it was or wasn't when it came out your mouth. You know, you're just right in that moment. And that's the guys with game have that. And the guys, this is why a lot of stupid guys have good game too, by the way, because they're not in their heads because they're too stupid. They just want to get laid. They're just saying dumb things, but they're saying it on time. You know,
I know a guy like this in Tokyo. It's like, oh, girl, pretty, you know.
Yeah,
Japanese
we
is
all know that
terrible.
guy, and they get fucking laid,
know?
dude.
Yeah,
They get
it does.
because they're right in the moment. You know what I mean? And so like that's a big part of it. That's a big part of it. And so sometimes guys who are actually smarter struggle because they overanalyze, you know, and they get in their heads. And that's why we say like John will you post shit about yourself, you know, you doing some boxing or Thai boxing or whatever, like to promote other guys to do stuff like that. Yeah, and I've been doing stuff like that my whole life. The reason why we promote that, it's not because you have to be some like MMA fighter. That'd be cool if you were, if you wanted to be, but it's not it. It's because when you do that kind of training, it forces you to get out of your head and respond in the moment, in real time. And much of life success is that. And what do you think you're doing, guys, if you're on the computer all day? For example, and we are, John and I are, because that's our business. We're on the computer a lot. we have to balance that out with other stuff because my brain is practicing this two-dimensional environment of a computer screen and being in my default network and in my thoughts. So I have to take myself out of that and be in a spontaneous environment to make sure I'm working that part of my brain, or else you're just not going to be able to be good at connecting with people socially. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But good news is your
Good
brain will do it for you when you do it. Your brain's designed for it, so it'll get there.
Guys, this is what we're going to continue to bring you. We've been going along for 2 hours now. We're going to end it here.
You got
Thanks
an
for being
announcement
here.
too when you but
And yeah, we're going to wrap it up right now. Paul's going to go with his announcement. Go ahead, Paul.
yeah, just quick announcement, and I'm going to post the links actually right now. I'm finding them as I do stuff. But I have a pre-register for sexual psychology, which is going to drop in September. This is not,
Nice.
you're not, yes. So this is a pre-registration. What that means is when I launch this course, okay, if you're on my pre-registration list, you're going to get an email to sign up before everybody else. You'll get a slight price break and some other opportunities in there. All right, for some other bundles and some different things. So if you want to get and I'm cutting off enrollment at 50 people. So once I reach 50, because I got my mastermind group guys as well. Like, so once I reach 50 signups, I'm closing enrollment. So you want to get in on the pre-register, not just for a price break, but to get that early enrollment. So that's that first link there. And then the second link is going to be just right now, my school community is available to you guys. And so that's where I wrote that post in greater detail about, not, how to handle rejection, stuff like that, right? And like why you're blowing it with girls and getting in your head, right? There's a more detailed post, and I write shit like that probably about once a week, and it's pretty detailed. So that's like my Substack, that's like my blog or whatever. And then you get to ask questions there. So those are the two things I want to make sure you guys have that, all right? My school community, and get on that pre-registration, all right? Because I'm sending that invite out when the course enrollment opens, and once if it doesn't make it past pre-registration and I never open up to the public, oh well, I need to limit the numbers so that I can have hands-on and get to everybody's questions in our live calls and stuff, and really kind of make sure guys are getting their time that they need. So that's it. That is my plug. And so, yeah.
We will be back next week as usual. I am still in the laptop setup, so we don't have internet yet. It's this home 5G thing. Hopefully, there was no glitches today. Seemed to
It
be
was
okay
good.
today.
It was smooth.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good. We're just getting things set up on mine, but guys, I can endorse anything Paul does. Maybe we'll do a launch show on my channel for you as well.
Thanks, man.
But guys, like I said, the only way to solve your problem here is game. So if you're a guy that actually sat through from beginning to end, good for you. You're probably gonna make it if you follow through and do what we say. But to the rest of you guys cutting corners, just hit like and subscribe. Help the cause. We'll catch you guys later. All right, peace out.
Yeah, later.